Good morning, folks, on the 4th day of January. (2022). The 2000th year of the millennium. The 20th year of the millennium. The 2000th year of AD, Anno Domini. Do you know that selfishness, egotism, me first, are a hoax? They're a fraud? They're a scam? You mustn't give any time to selfishness, egotism, and me first. We mustn't. We're all together on this. We are all together on this. And thinking about bad things. We mustn't do that. We must scrape the barrel and take all out the life, the time, and the energy, and put it in the bucket, bring the bucket up high, turn the bucket completely upside down, and pour it into helping others. And we do this for a long time, and we find out something grand and wonderful. What is it? That love is God and God is love. We've always wanted a relationship with God, and now we have it. We couldn't get our arms around God. God was too big. But now we know what God is. We know what love is. We've known that since we've been in our mother's arms. And we know that God is love, so therefore we know what God is. And we find out more things about God. That God is everything there is. There's no other power, there's no other force but God. And if we think so, then we're thinking wrong. Then we have to have a transformation of our thinking. We have to think right. So now what do we know about God? God is all there is. Now we find out something else about God. God is one. God is all there is, but God is one. God is all of us together. All of us together. Working together. And we have one job to do. We all have the same job to do. Creativity. Making this universe better. Making this universe grow. And glow. And go. Look at the great work that we've done in the past million years. Look at the great work that we did yesterday. The allness of God, the oneness of God, and then you and I. We shouldn't even use you or I. We should just say we're all one. We're all one, working together. That's why there's no self, ego, or me first. Because that's a false, phony separation. We go down to the altar of selfishness, egotism, and me first all of our lives, and we put down all of our precious gifts on that altar. What are our precious gifts? Time, life, energy. And the wind comes up and it blows away the curtain, and we see that there's nothing behind that curtain. There's nothing behind that altar. It's a fake. It always has been. There's a couple more things we find out. Don't forget also that we can't be separate from God. There's no existence apart from God. That's why we're one. If you take a cell off of this body, if you take a cell off of this body, it's not going to live, is it, the cell? No, it's gone. It's sustenance. It's gone. Really, it's gone into another form of energy. So there's two more things. God is good. It's all goodness. And if we don't think so, then we have to transform by the renewal of our minds. We got to think the truth. Think the truth. Don't think about a cold. Don't think about a head cold. Think the truth. So, the last thing is to go vegan. You can't make it with God if you're cruel to animals. You can't make it to God if you go into the supermarket and lay down your money and pay somebody to go out and kill an animal who's been forced to live in urine and feces all of its life, who has been beaten and clubbed and denied of its independence and its sweetness of life, and denied of water, washing, and drinking. You can't do those things and be one with God. A vegan is somebody who just believes in harmlessness. You don't harm anything. You're like my husband Franklin. You don't harm anybody. Thank you, Franklin, for sending down your $2,600 from heaven. Thank you, Carol, for walking up in a temperature of 9 degrees to the post office to mail Franklin's checks into the bank. Thank you, bank. Christine Rio, who has worked for Medicaid New York State for 42 years and retired and has been called back because she's so good and knows so much. She said that Glendora was not poor enough to have Medicaid. Her income was $2,600. And the most income that Medicaid can allow in New York State is $890. So they had to subtract $890 from Franklin's $2,600, and what do you get? About $1,800. And Glendora has to spend that much money every month in order to be poor. We had to make you poor. Well, they did a good job of it. They made me poor very, very fast. So I send the $1,800. It's an automatic withdrawal from the bank account on the 8th of every month, and they send it to this trust called NYSARC. And then NYSARC pays the rent, pays the things that Glendora needs, pays the drop box, pays the clothing, anything that Glendora needs to keep up her life or standard of living or whatever it is. So now they've made Glendora poor. But the nice thing about it is that Medicaid becomes a customer of an insurance company. This one happens to be called Essentia. Isn't that a dumb name? And this insurance company hires an employment agency, and the employment agency pays for 3 Glendora aides, 3 people who come to Glendora's house every day and aid her. The housework, the cooking, the telephone, the in-mail, and that way Glendora can stay in her house, Happy House 3, this one is called. She can stay in her home the rest of her life until she dies. She doesn't ever have to go to a nursing home. Isn't it a grand, grand thing? Thank you yesterday, Christine Rio, for explaining to me all the relationships of those agencies. Essentia, Consumer Direct, who's a employment agency, the trust, who spends Glendora's money and makes sure everything gets paid for that she needs and wants, and Medicaid. Isn't that nice? What else do I have to tell you? The new year? Thank you for a new year. We're thankful for a new year. I told you that Carol went, it's about a mile, to the post office in a 9-degree weather situation and sent Franklin's checks to the bank, plus the $8 check that Jonesy ripped up. And the bank will cash it. And Glendora will stand behind it. Wayne. Wayne is keeping up with his household at 74 years old. And he makes his living through the stock market. And he's doing very well. And Corrine, the first reader at the Christian Science Church, is going to bring Wayne over, and Wayne is going to bring the cookies he made over. And if Corrine is unable to do it because she's so busy helping others, then we will send one of our people over to get Wayne. We are doing great on the Compton's Encyclopedia. It's 440 pages. We're within the last 100 pages. We have to do engineering, and then we'll skip English literature, and then we'll do the rest of the E's down to the I. And then we'll start, and we already have started volume I and J. Volume G and H are being done over here with the World Book Encyclopedia. And why do we do that? Because the encyclopedia tells about God. It tells about all the wonderful God things. It tells about, no, not all of them, just some of them. And we love to see the great creation of God and rejoice in it and enjoy it and pass it on. What else is going on? Gary Black. I will send you $45 for the Dropbox for the month of January. And you send me a bill. And I will send the bill to the trust. And the trust will send you the $45. I'm going to take the rap for it. I'm not going to get my $45 back. And so the trust sends you $45, and you take that $45 and you send it to Dropbox for the month of February. And then the month of February, the trust how does that work out? Anyway, you send the money to the Dropbox, and then you send the bill to the trust. And the trust pays you another $45, and that's for March. Grady Hearn, he had 4 programs to send up to the YouTube, Soul to Soul, the chat with Glendora, and his desktop wouldn't do it. His desktop refused to do it. So he found an old laptop, an old laptop, and he could send them onto the YouTube that way. And when you send them on the YouTube, you press a button that says share, and the YouTube lets you share the program with Facebook and Twitter. And Madeline is figuring out an answer to her refinancing and the assessor, water in the cellar, smelling fuel in the cellar, and the foundation. And she's found out the answer to that. HEAP cannot give Glendora $374 to pay for heating the garage, keeping the Lincolns warm and keeping the mold out of the Lincolns in the garage. They can't do that. It has to be in the house where Glendora lives. Glendora has not heard from the owner of the property as to seeing if her insurance company, the owner of the property's insurance company, will pay for the $375 electric in the garage, because it all happened from the flood that we had in the spring. That's where the mold came from. The owner of the property has not fixed the plunger in the bathroom sink. Are you up to date? I don't think so, but that's enough. Carol and Wayne and Glendora will tell you the words and the jokes and the Bible passage for this week and the hymn. What is the hymn for this week? I don't know, but I'll sing you this one. Are there trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? Do, re, mi, fa, sol. You must never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful who will all our troubles share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. What are your New Year's resolutions? Glennie wants to be refined. Glennie wants to keep her mouth shut when she gets angry. Glennie wants to make a nice signature. People say that Glennie's signature is very good even though she can't see. They put her finger down where the signature should start, and then as long as Glennie doesn't leave the pen from the paper, she can get a very good signature. Okay. Well, you can do the prayer. A very nice prayer. What would it be? Drop thy still dews of quietness till all our striving cease. Take from our soul the strain and stress, and let our ordered lives confess the beauty of thy peace. It's the same one truth over and over again. What takes away the strain and stress? You don't give to any time, life, or energy to egotism, selfishness, and me first. You give all your time, life, and energy to helping others. And what is helping others all about? Helping God. Helping God run the universe. Doing our part. Making the universe go and grow and glow. Okie dokie.